and it did not stop against Seattle. The result, a 31-10 victory. Welcome into Bills Postgame Live. He's Wall of Famer Steve Tasker. I'm Maddy Glab. All week, players and coaches talked about getting off to a fast start after trailing at the half last week. That was not the issue tonight. Steve, how did Buffalo get off to a quick lead in this one?
Well, it certainly starts out by going 3 and out defensively, and they looked really good doing it. The Seahawks got nowhere near a first down in their first 3 plays. They came out, Josh Allen and company came out on their first drive. Now, let's face it, it wasn't really smooth because there were like 19 penalties on the first drive, and they kept overcoming them. And that was really a testament to how this game was going to go. The Bills overcame, I think, 3 called penalties on them in the first drive alone and went on in and scored a touchdown. Man, that really made a statement about how good they were going to play today, and it carried over into the rest of the game. Even though there was a lot of penalties in this game, the Bills overcame them early and didn't get derailed by them.
13 total penalties for the Bills tonight. Buffalo went into this game with a minus 15-point differential in the first quarter. This game, a plus 7-point differential in the first quarter. That shows the difference and just how Buffalo really got off to that fast start. QB1 Josh Allen is on the podium. Let's hear what he had to say about this big Week 8 victory.
The start.
It was great. Got off to a quick start. First drive, go down there and get points. It's something that we've talked about repetitively over the course of the last couple of weeks. Felt good to go out there and get it done. First play, Dawson making a big play for us and really starting us off the right way.
Would you think that might have been start to finish? I mean, the penalties were not great, but start to finish, it might have been your best game of the year. I mean, overall. Yeah,
it's up there, and I think you look at it from all 3 phases. I think everybody went out there, knew their job, and executed at a high level. Offense, defense, special teams. Got to clean up the penalties. Obviously had a turnover today and had another one that could have been a turnover. Ty Johnson stepping in and following the ball and making a play and keeping it alive in that 2-minute drive. So still a lot to clean up, and we'll watch this one, get rid of it, and enjoy this plane ride.
Does it feel like Keon is playing more comfortable, more confident football right now?
Absolutely, and that's something our staff has got him rolling. Knows what he's doing, and when he knows what he's doing and he's rolling, he's a damn good football player. He's continuing to make plays for us, and you love to see that from your young guy, and he's only going to get better.
Josh, is there a noticeable difference when you have a game where you don't start well and a game where you do start well? Is it simply just executing, or is there like anything else that you notice about this?
No, it's a lot of execution. It's quick little decisions here that mount up and kind of snowball into bigger things. And again, we could have let the turnovers kind of deter us from having a good game, but we continued to find ways to move the ball. I think we're really good on third down. I don't know the exact numbers, but I think we executed at a high rate on third down, which allows us to, again, move the chains and give us our opportunities to score points. And I don't know our red zone touchdowns either, but we scored quite a bit. James Cook got going. Ray Davis got going. And, again, guys made some plays for us.
After the turnover, the defense got the stop at the goal line, and then you guys went 93 yards. Was that kind of the shifting point of the game, maybe?
Huge. Hate throwing turnovers, but went and made the tackle, and Coach talks about it all the time of, something like that, not to put your head down, go to the sideline, go make a tackle, and let your defense come back out on the field because you never know what's going to happen. They went out there and had 4 consecutive plays of a stop, and allowed us to, again, snowball that into something really good and score for the 2 minutes.
And that was the mentality, right, to make up for it by taking control of the game?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Can you describe what happened on that play, why he was able to pick it off?
Yeah, he played inside. I think Amari slipped a little bit, and again, just could have put that maybe a little bit further behind and put it on his body. It was a little wet, and the guy made a good play.
Shakir over 100 yards today. Every week you just see his game elevate?
Yeah, he's as steady as they come. He's been dealing with an ankle for the last couple weeks. Every week he seems like he's getting a little bit better and more comfortable and confident and cutting. Again, he just continues to make plays for us, and he's not the flashiest player. You're never going to see him be in the end zone and do something crazy, but he's just as consistent as they come. Love the guy, and he does whatever's asked from him.
James Cook 2 touchdowns, over 100 himself. Can you tell early in the game when he's got it going?
Oh yeah, when he's running it hard like that, and that second touchdown when he lowered the boom, and I wouldn't say he has the biggest frame, but when he can be an angry runner, and you saw that today.
A couple of 90-yard touchdown drives in the first half. What does that do for an offense, in particular on the road?
Yeah, I think it takes the crowd out of it. You stay out of 3rd and longs like we did and be able to convert as well as we did. It quiets them down quite a bit, which, again, helps with communication and helps with really just the whole vibe and momentum of the game. Crowds can be such a big part of it, and I do want to shout out Bills Mafia because that was a crazy scene walking off the field right now to the thousands of fans that were still here. So appreciate them for coming out, and hopefully they enjoyed the game today.
From a game-to-game standpoint, despite the penalties and whatever sloppiness, situational stuff, even going back a couple weeks, how in control do you feel on a week-to-week basis? Because I don't want to.
Yeah, I think I feel good, and that's a credit to Joe and his system and the staff and RC and what we're doing in the quarterback room, and Mitch and Mike and Shane. We have a lot of really thorough and good conversations in there that really help me throughout the week, and I appreciate every single one of those guys. And it takes a village to go out there and execute like the way we did today. But yeah, it takes everybody, and it was a good feeling.
What about from a team standpoint?
Last one for Josh.
In terms of keeping whether it be the long drives, coming back from a turnover, just the idea of we got this.
Yeah, I just think the confidence, again, that's instilled from the top down, especially in the offensive side of the ball with Joe and our offensive staff, putting guys in positions where they know what they're doing. They do it fast. We're not, I wouldn't say we're too overcomplicated in what we're doing. I know we have some motions and shifts, but again, it takes guys learning it and understanding it, but going out there and executing at a high level. Everybody knows their spots, and when you got that, you got a dangerous team. Thank you, guys.
Bills quarterback Josh Allen talked about how this team really executed in all 3 phases. The offense scores 31 points. The defense holds the best passing offense in the NFL to just 200 passing yards. And on special teams, Mac Hollins recovers a muffed punt. Steve, is this the most complete game we've seen out of this team to start the year?
Yeah, because while there was a pretty competitive moment in the first half where it was 7-3, and then as we said, the Bills got the goal line stand, the Seahawks got the turnover, were down close, couldn't make anything of it. The Bills held, went down, and then got to 14-3 at halftime. This fast start, weathering the storm on the road, and literally the rainstorm on the road as well, the penalties, and they kept being productive on both sides of the ball, all 3 sides of the ball, all the way through the game. It really was their most complete game. We have talked about how they have not played their best football at this point, and I still think that's true.
Have we seen it,
they
or
still,
you think it's
no,
ahead
I
of
still
them?
think they can play better than this, but this is by far their best effort and most complete wire-to-wire game.
I think it says a lot about this team to put up 31 points, to hold the Seahawks to just 10 points. In Seattle Seahawks territory. That is not an easy stadium to play in. You're doing it against rain. You're also doing it against the 12th man, as they like to call their fans. I think it was a statement win by Buffalo through 8 weeks of the season. They're now 6-2. It was also their first win against an opponent that's 500 or better. So it was nice to see them get a victory against a team that has a winning record as well.
And it was a convincing win as well. Let's not forget, this is a 3-touchdown win. They held the number 1 passing offense in the NFL to 212 yards for Geno Smith. Had a turnover, got an interception off him. They pressured him right out of the gate. And it was obvious very early the Seahawks had to do something up front. So they kept guys in, and this really hurt them. They had to keep people in to deal with Greg Rousseau and A.J. Epinesa. Those guys they came on that first series. Greg Rousseau, Geno Smith had nothing to do, so they had to start chipping him and double teaming Rousseau all day, and it really hamstrung their ability to put the ball down the field because they couldn't put guys into the route because the Bills' ends were all over Geno, and it also did open it up for the Seahawks to throw those little dink screen passes. They went to that screen game early. They've got to do that because the Bills, they were trying to do something to slow down Rousseau and the front 4 of the Bills. So they were throwing screens and quick screens and getting the ball behind, just over the top of those defensive ends. They had to do something because early on it was obvious Rousseau and Epinesa were going to dominate their entire offensive line if they didn't. So they did that early and tried to get the ball out of Geno's hands early. But you run out of those plays, which is what we saw last week against the Tennessee Titans. They just run out of those little trick dump-off screens. And when they do, there's nothing to go to.
Seattle was just 1 of 5 on third down in the first half, as well as just 96 total yards of offense in the first half. Head coach Sean McDermott is on the podium right now. Let's get right to him.
Okay, good to get a win. Anytime you can win, we'll take it. Hard to win in this league, and especially on the road, especially here. They've got a track record of playing great at home, a great fan base. I thought our fan base showed up today, man, big time. Not surprising, but never taking that for granted. The red, white, and blue of the Buffalo Bills showed up all the way out here in the Northwest, and couldn't be more grateful. Winning the line of scrimmage, that's where it starts every week. I thought our O-line and D-line did a phenomenal job. Great week of preparation. The 3-and-out by the defense, the first 2 series, 2 3-and-out drives. The first one led to a 9-minute drive by our offense. Took up a lot of clock, which helped with an explosive offense on the other side. We were able to double dip, so score before half, score after half. The turnover that we had, the offense did a good job, although we never want a turnover, getting us to line up again. Defense went out and held them, which was big from a momentum standpoint. And then the second half, I thought the second half, getting off to a good start, scoring, like I said, and then we got the takeaway. Austin Johnson got the big takeaway, which I think led to 7 as well there. So some good things by the special teams. I like the kickoff coverage. I think it was third quarter at that point. Very physical, swarming type of coverage. Still a lot to work on. Penalties being one of them. Some things that we did, some decisions that we made that led to some poor field position. We got to continue to work on that and get those things cleaned up. With that, I'll turn it over to you.
You obviously went through everything there, but when you look at venue, opponent, and the way you play aside from the penalty, might that have been your best, most? I know you're going to say that.
You know the answer to that. So
but this was a pretty good performance, wouldn't you say?
By our fans, for sure. Yeah, by our fans. Yeah. Did you hear them out there? I've never heard this place like that in all my years in the NFL. Been out here a number of years. I've never heard that, and that's a testament to the Bills, testament to the Bills fans, and the organization really for the tradition that they've built over the years.
Sean, you're 6-2. 5 of your first 8 were on the road. Do you feel like this team continues to take steps forward?
Yeah, I mean, we knew this was going to be a tough game, and it was. We knew we were going to have to play well in all 3 phases, and I think we did, at least at this point, enough to get the result that we were looking for. But there's definitely things, again, that we have to improve on. Pre-snap penalties and the penalties overall, and then just some decision-making. I felt like that we've got some young guys back there on some special teams things, but plenty still to work on. Even the last drive, the second to last drive on the defense, too easy right there. So, but a great week of preparation is what led to this. Focus, the leadership in the locker room, guys stepping in for other guys that were hurt. Missing Vaughn, TB, DC. And some things on offense there with Curtis being out. So, again, I can't applaud those guys that stepped up and did a great job for us today.
Sean, we've talked a lot about slow starts for a couple of games now. And come out, though, that 90-yard drive for a touchdown that just kind of set the tone. How big was that drive? And then you had another 90-yard drive touchdown.
Yeah. I mean, when you've got an explosive offense, just specific to this game, you have to be efficient offensively and explosive at the same time. I felt like we were both, albeit, again, we were beating ourselves. I feel like we 2 steps forward, 1 step back, but we were getting some chunks, all the while moving the chains, being efficient when we needed to be efficient. I mean, our third downs were right around 5 yards to go on average on third down versus theirs were 11 yards to go. So you like the odds, the probability of those situations coming up in our favor. So, again, just, good to get off to a good start holistically as a team. And to cash in when we got the chance to cash in, red zone included.
Sean, how high on the priority list was that? Obviously, you're coming here and you want to get a win, but starting fast as you're planning out the week, how high was that?
Well, it's always a priority, even though we haven't done a great job of that. So we went back. I tell you guys, we go back and look at everything, and so we went back and looked at some things, and I felt more than anything we got into a rhythm early. We had some momentum, got into a rhythm. Defense came out 3 and out. That helps. The field position that they got off of that first punt, that was. I mean, he hung it up there pretty far, and I think both 3 and outs by the defense. I expected better field position, quite honestly, and we didn't get it. But credit to our offense for getting us out of those situations.
Are you seeing rapid maturation from Keon? It looked like he was as comfortable as he's looked all season in the run game and in the pass game and on that touchdown today.
Yeah, just growth, 1 week at a time, growth, development. Adam's doing a really good job with him, and having Amari I think helps too because he's another veteran in the room, and to me a big-time established veteran that's done great things in this league for a while, so that helps with the guys that are already in that room. We've got good guys in that room that help young players develop and teach them the right way, teach them the right habits, the right routines, Monday through Saturday. That's what leads to what you saw today.
Do you think Khalil Shakir at the point where he might even be a better version of Cole Beasley? And I say that because he has that ability to break tackles. Like Cole would catch a ball and go down. Shakir seems to make yak all the time. Is he maybe a better version of Cole?
Don't disrespect Cole like that, number one. That's what you're asking me to do. Cole was a phenomenal player in his own right. He did a lot of great things for this team. Khalil is his own player. And, they're both similar, but both slightly different as well. So what you saw the last couple of weeks with Khalil was he was out there playing injured. And finally this week, I think he started to get back to closer to 100%.
Cook over 100 yards.
Yeah.
When you see him run that way early in the game, what kind of juice does that give the sideline?
Yeah, I mean, it's just the momentum. All these things lead to momentum, right? You see guys straining. You see guys giving great effort. You see guys, offensive linemen, finishing plays where James has the ball and they're finishing right on his heels when he's getting tackled. They're running to the football. The defensive front runs to the football. You see Rasul Douglas on the first, I believe it was the first series or a second series, they tried to run the ball off tackle outside. They cracked the safety. He comes up, makes a great tackle on a heck of a running back. So those things are important to us as a team. And it's never one player, one coach. It's playing good team football.
On James specifically, though, he's already, passed his career touchdown totals from previous seasons, that kind of thing. Like, what do you think specifically he's doing this year that's helping him have, days like today?
Again, just more and more development from a young player. He's focused. He prepares. And you don't take that for granted. I mean, these guys in that locker room, they work during the week to get themselves to be the most prepared they can, and they take it seriously, and they hold each other accountable, which is very powerful, as you guys know.
Just kind of mention it, Henning and Kenneth Walker. How much of the emphasis was that throughout the week?
Yeah, really good running back. He likes to get outside, and you could tell when they didn't have him in the stretch of 2 or 3 games it was, I believe, that they didn't have him. You could see a difference in their offense. So we knew that they were going to challenge the line of scrimmage, and they did it early, and we were able to kind of snuff it out a little bit there, and which helps to make them more of a one-dimensional. Plus, we're scoring points, and you get into more of a drop back game like they did.
Austin Johnson, first interception of his career. Didn't have one in college, doesn't look like, but
I think he had a fumble. I think he had a fumble return. I remember watching it at Penn State, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought he had some scoop and score or something. I remember it was going left to right on the video. For whatever that's worth. It was not an interception. This is his first interception. That must have been a scoop and score. Yeah.
How do you remember that?
I don't know. Thank you, guys.
Shakir and Keon are coming in.
Watching this game, Steve, you sit back and you watch this offense operate at a high level. 31 points on the scoreboard is a big number, and you see 2 wide receivers emerge in Khalil Shakir and Keon Coleman. These 2 receivers are hard to play against. You've got a receiver in Shakir who is your slot guy who gets yak yards. You've got a guy in Coleman who lines up out wide and can beat defenders. Coleman had some big-time catches in this game. That one-handed touchdown catch that he had was incredible. Shakir has a career high in receptions today, 9 catches for 107 receiving yards. Coleman, the rookie, adds 70 receiving yards. What do you make of these two on the field together?
Well, it's been fantastic. I think Kincaid adds something along with that as well. Coleman, Shakir, Kincaid, and Cook have all spread their wings in this offense. Keon, though, is the one that we've been watching. It's surprising because we don't know. We haven't seen Keon do it yet. Today was a huge moment when he went in on the first. They get set up down close. Josh throws him that first fade, and the DB knocks it away. And it's in Keon's face about don't try that again. And I'll say this, too. This is not for nothing. Keon's right-handed. At least I think he is. They flip it to the other side where the right hand is the one away from the defender. He comes down with the one, same defender, same route, other side, strong hand goes up for it. He comes down with it. And now he's the one that scores the touchdown instead of making this play on the same defender. That's a big-time mature play when you get the same call against the same dude on the other side of the field.
By a rookie.
Young guy. Keon is doing some things as a big wide receiver that exude confidence. I can't tell you how impressive it is at such a young point of his career. We didn't see it early. And I said on the regular daily show and stuff, sometimes Keon was playing like a young player, like he wasn't sure that it was okay like he did today, flex. I think he's getting a lesson. Yeah, it's okay. Go ahead.
I think we knew he was going to put it together at some point this season. And in Week 7 and Week 8, we are starting to see that. Let's head into this week's Player Spotlight. It's presented by Microsoft Surface. Microsoft Surface is the official tablet and sideline technology of the Buffalo Bills. We are highlighting Keon Coleman for his 5 catches and 70 receiving yards that he had alongside of a touchdown. Let's continue the conversation about Coleman. How are you seeing him blossom as a receiver in the last 2 weeks?
Well, some of it comes down to opportunity. You see here at the bottom of your screen, he comes out, and this is where he goes up and grabs it with his strong arm, his right arm. This is right after we saw it play before, and this has got, Woolen's got his arm in there and does it and takes it away and can't get it away from him. This play, they go up high in the seam on the outside edge of the numbers. Josh puts this up high. He goes up and gets it. Certainly takes the hit. That's a big-time play. And I think one of the things you can tell, just no question about it, you can tell he's doing some stuff in practice, making some plays, communicating with his quarterback off the field, on the field. Josh wasn't throwing the ball like that in those situations early in the season. Now he is, and he's coming through more than he's not. That's all it takes. When stuff comes, when push comes to shove and they need a play and they want to take a shot at a guy, the quarterback is going to be more apt to throw it to him knowing he's done that stuff. I thought this was an enormously, impressive game and also an obvious spot in the season where we saw Keon Coleman take a big step forward.
Seattle has a couple of incredible cornerbacks on their team. One of those guys is Reek Woolen. That's who Keon Coleman caught the touchdown pass against. Woolen was allowing just 16.3 passer rating in coverage so far this season. That's the lowest among cornerbacks in the NFL. Speaking of the wide receivers in Khalil Shakir and Keon Coleman, they were on the podium after this one, so let's hear what they had to say about this big victory.
Rate. Not always great in every game this season. You guys got on track early in terms of converting early, and you really you had like 3 or 4 80-yard drives today. Just maybe talk about moving those sticks on the money down.
Yeah, I mean, our plan is to always just stay on schedule. Early on we had a couple flags, but we know what we're capable of doing. So just, like I said, sticking to the details, the preparation that we put in throughout the week, and, one play at a time mentality. So.
Keon, it looked like part of the game plan was to go after 29 in this one. Looked like a favorable. I'm guessing Coach Brady thought it was a favorable matchup. Just your thoughts on that?
I mean, I don't think we singled out one guy. Shit, we go at everybody. They line up across us, we're going to go out there and make the play. So, pretty simple.
Keon, can you walk us through the touchdown grab? We talked a lot since you've been drafted about the basketball background and everything. You go up and make a grown man catch like that. Can you describe what that play was and how it played out?
Simple football play. We miscued on the first one. I told him just put it even higher, give me another shot at it. He gave me another shot. I went up there and made the play.
It looked like it was one-handed.
Yeah, it was. It was. He went and snagged it. Yeah.
Yeah, he went up there and snagged it.
How Curtis say, it's me. Yeah.
He's going to be monster, Khalil. Tell us about that touchdown. What did you see when he goes up and grabs
Nah,
it?
that's a big boy play right there. You know, so it comes to just Josh and him being on the same page. Josh trusting him, throwing it up there, and him making a play. So.
Khalil, how does a play like that maybe energize the offense when you see Keon go up and make a play like that obviously results in a score? How does that energize an offense?
Yeah, I mean, anytime we score a touchdown, we're lit. So for it to be him, especially in our wideout room, for it to be anybody in our wideout room, like I know we get really excited for each other just to see each other ball out, But as an offense, as long as we get in there, it can be anybody.
Do you guys feel like you're rolling right now as a team?
What you mean by that?
Playing well, have the momentum going with you?
I mean, it changes throughout the season, but we feel like every play we come out there and execute at a high level, I don't think anybody really can stop us but ourselves. So eliminating the penalties, turnovers, whatever else we did wrong, we're just going to continue to correct that and continue to try to get wins.
Well, I know you were kind of fighting through the ankle a couple of weeks ago. You're playing, you're not 100%. I mean, I know nobody's really 100%, but you're like gutting it out on a reduced snap count week 6. Now here we are, week 8. It looks like you kind of have that spring in your step again. Would you say that this is as good as you felt, in a while?
Yeah, since that happened, yeah. We're still getting there. Still dealing with a little bit of it, but at the end of the day, it's football. Like you said, everybody out there playing hurt, so it's a part of the game.
Khalil, one of the things we asked you guys a lot about this week was just starting faster. I know obviously you did it today. Is there anything noticeable, or is it just execution between a game where you don't start fast and a game where you go and you score 90-yard touchdown?
Yeah, there's a lot of things, limited penalties, execution, details, even just the small things throughout a play. It's every 11 guys on the field doing their job to make it work, So today, definitely got off to a better start than we have. It's just putting one foot in front of the other and continuing to, whatever Joe calls, execute that play to the best of our ability.
Keon, or Khalil, coming into this season, there are a lot of new pieces in the wide receiver room. Do you feel like the last couple of weeks, guys are starting to find kind of where they fit, where the puzzle pieces fit right now?
Yeah, I think you could say that, just as the season goes on, everyone starts to understand, what their role is. That's a part of the game. Everybody being on top of their job throughout the week and the preparation that we're putting in, as far as the plays throughout the week. But I always say this, at any point in that receiver room, anybody's number can get called on any given play and make a play. Our room is so dynamic. So, and I truly believe it's one of the best in the NFL, So, we know that. We sit here and whatever it is, whatever challenges is in front of us, we just put our head down and grind throughout the week and come out on game day ready.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
The offense was rolling in this one, but we have to give a shout out to the defense as well because they were a big part of the reason why Buffalo scored 31 points. The Bills have a 4th down stop on defense. They have a defensive lineman interception by Austin Johnson, and Buffalo's offense scores after each one of those times the Bills gave the ball back to the offense. Steve, this defense allowed 1 rushing yard in the first half. That was the second fewest in the first half for the Bills in this century. What can you say about this defense who was down starters again? No middle linebacker in Terrell Bernard. No defensive tackle in Dwayne Carter. They're still down guys, and again, they continue to impress against the best passing offense in the NFL.
Yeah, and we thought it was really going to be a problem. Terrell Bernard being out of this game kind of sets the front and meshes with the back end of the defense. So the coverage matches who's dropping out into coverage from the front, and so they have to get that right. You figured that maybe there'd be some rough spots there. And I think the Bills also, let's be honest, they did benefit from the Seahawks team that doesn't like to run the ball and hasn't run it very well. And plus, the Bills are outscoring them. So they were going to put the ball in the hands of Geno Smith. But man, oh man, when they needed something just to take the pressure off, just to do something, they didn't get it from the Bills' front. The run defense in the beginning of this game was perfect. They were right on the money. They gave up 1 or 2 yards early, and then the Seahawks just gave up on it. And I think it's a testament also to the ability of the team to tackle. You didn't see too many missed tackles in this game. The first defender, and it's a hallmark of every great defense. the first defender to the ball always makes the tackle. That was the way the Bills were today. They just swarmed to the football. If there was one guy that was there to make a tackle, he made it. Guys rallied to the football, no question about it. And the Seahawks, the Seahawks kind of gave up on the run early, and they paid a price for it, in my opinion.
The Bills offense also milked the clock in the first half. They had those 2 really long scoring drives that took a bunch of time off the clock. Play drives going more than 10 plays. That first touchdown drive took over 9 minutes off of the clock. If you look at third down, that's been something on both offense and defense this team has wanted to work on. Well, on offense, they finished 8 of 15, converting 53% of their third down opportunities. On defense, they hold Seattle to just 1 of 7 on third down conversion opportunities. That's just 14%. So, Steve, as we look at this game as a whole and get ready for Week 9, a game against the Miami Dolphins, what do you want to see this team take from this game and throw into a Week 9 game at home against an AFC East
before
division
the Bills
rival?
offense kind of shut it down and started shortening the game, they were 8 of 12 on third down. If you can keep that up, that would be great. That gives you an edge up in every game, and that's something they've struggled with just this year. They've led the league in third down conversions the last couple of years. This year they have struggled in that area, not today. If they can keep that up and go 8 of 12 throughout a game, again, they're going to be tough to get off the field. I think the ability to spread the football around to Coleman, if a team is going to match Keon Coleman up with their number 1 corner and you still throw at him and you're still successful, that's a problem for the other team. You can bet the Bills are going to continue to try and exploit Keon Coleman's physicality out on the edge. Amari Cooper was not as big a factor in this game, but Khalil Shakir, once again, virtually caught every target coming to him. Let me just make sure. I didn't want to say. He had
10 targets.
10 targets he caught. That is an enormous stat. He leads the NFL in target percentage caught. It's huge to have him back on the field. Kincaid is still catching most of the targets they send his way. Although today he was 4 of 7. Josh threw it in a couple of tight spots and a couple of desperation throws. This offense, taking this away from the offense, I think you're starting to get critical mass where you've got healthy enough on the edges, your offensive line is healthy enough, and you've got enough confidence in the new roster that Josh Allen has been given this year that now you know who you can trust, you know what they can do, and now the defense has to juggle all those weapons and try and stay on top of them, and that's a really big ask.
The Bills are 6-2 as they head into Week 9, a game against the Miami Dolphins. Quarterback Josh Allen throws 301 pass attempts without an interception. We were hoping it would never happen, but it did happen in this game. His 203 passes to start the season without an interception are the longest since Patrick Mahomes did it in 2019.
Yeah, he did it in a rainstorm and his receiver fell down, slipped coming out of a break. Okay.
Happens.
What are you going to do? It's a bad break, and it's a nice streak. Start another one. It was something, though. That stat with Josh, it doesn't mean everything, but it doesn't mean nothing. The guy was known for throwing interceptions. Led the league last year in 18. It's the one thing that kept him from getting more MVP votes, that kind of thing. He completely shut it off this year. His team's sitting at 6-2, and I think bigger things are on the horizon for this offense, and throwing an interception, get it out of the way, it's fine, because then it starts to become a thing that you got to deal with. Now it's over. Go ahead and play loose football.
Allen said it was something he's been working on the last couple seasons, taking care of the football. We are seeing the fruits of that this season. Sean McDermott said he's been so impressed by the way that Josh Allen has played this game to start the season, just how he values the football this year. We want to thank you for tuning into Bills Postgame Live. For Steve Tasker, I'm Maddy Glab. We will see you all next week.